The sun is starting to set on the Virginia hills here in Martinsville, Virginia. Tonight we have a doubleheader lined up for you, as the first race is going to be the Cars Late Model Tour, running 40 laps around this paperclip, which are the cars that are practicing on the track right now. And after that race, it's going to be a 50-lap main event in the Super Late Models. Follow along as Universe Motorsports enters into both of these races. Let's see how well we can do. And as the field starts to roll off for their pace laps, the race strategy breakdown for the first race of tonight's event is going to be a 40-lap race. There's going to be no cautions in this race, so we're going to have to keep our head on a swivel and make sure we either don't get into any wrecks, or probably both. Make sure you don't fall too far behind. You get a lap down, you will not be able to make it up. And while this is a short track, one of the shortest tracks on the iRacing service, this is a very technical track. You want to make sure you're hitting your braking points correctly. You want to make sure you're getting into the turn well enough so you have a good takeoff off exit. The best way to describe this racetrack is it's 2 drag strips with U-turns. So if you mess up your turn, you are pretty much burnt for that whole straightaway until you can gather up your rhythm again into the next turn. And with these cars, there's a lot of grip with these cars. It makes it very hard to pass. You really got to try to finagle your way around somebody. You don't want to really use your bumper, but if you have to, you got to be prepared that it's gonna happen either from the car behind you, or for you to make any moves at all, you're really gonna have to use that chrome horn. We're gonna be racing the number 11 Advanced Auto Parts Ford Mustang Late Model. This is a really cool looking car, and it stands out amongst everybody else, mainly white and green and black cars, so it should be easy to spot. And now we come to the green flag for the start of this race. So the 10 is going to get by us on the inside here, and the 13 is going to try to follow him through. And we're kind of just stuck up on the outside, kind of a result of where we qualified. Whenever we can find a hole, we're going to try to dip down. I think there might be a hole here right behind the 13, so yes, the car behind us falls into line, and we're going to really try to grab this bottom lane coming into turn 1. Make sure you don't hit that curve. That curve will really mess you up and send you right up the track. And we have cars wrecking in front of us, 2 into the inside wall, 1 spinning up top. Whoa, cars everywhere. Wow. 13's involved, 5 involved. The 2 was involved as well. He started up front. Well, that puts us from 12th on the first lap right into 9th position, and now we're really working under the 6. We have the preferred line, as we should be able to either clear him here, and if not, getting into turn 3 should be our best option. We are able to clear him up into 8th place. Time to settle in, get our rhythm. Try to catch back up to the 7 car that's in front of us. Well, that wreck right there is going to spread a bunch of people out. So we really need to try to catch up here and utilize the grip that we have early on. We have a couple cars in front of the 7 that are battling back and forth. Looks like they're going to do a crossover on them now. If they continue battling, that should bring us right back up to them. Here's a replay of that wreck that just happened on the first lap, or second lap there. The 2 looks like he gets clipped from the 5. I don't know if the 2 didn't think he was clear, and right in front of everybody. I'm surprised that a lot more cars did not get involved in that. Really heads up driving from everybody in the back of the pack. Running along with the 5. And the 5, a little bit to the left, hooks the 2 into the wall. The 5 could have given the 2 a lot more room. He had more room against the wall. Well, that's unfortunate for the 2 car. Beneficial for us as we have gained 3 spots, and now we have caught up to the 7, and he's caught up to the cars in front of him that were racing side by side, but now we are all single file. This is the tightest group of cars on the track since that wreck. If there's any pass on track, it's going to come from our group here. Now I'm going to try to be as aggressive as I can here, but I also want to try to be defensive because that 6 car right up on us, and this is the sort of tail end of this little group. We have another car just behind the 6 that's directly behind us, so if we get popped out of line here, that 6 could go under us, and we could be at threat to lose 2 positions, possibly even more if the couple cars behind us catch up by any means. 7 taking a really hard defensive line, even though we're not trying to make a pass here, but that just showing you how much he's going to keep blocking that bottom line. We need to make sure we have a good run off exit, because I don't think we're going to be able to get it. going into the turn under the 7 with the way he's running. Starting to peak under the 12. 7 might be able to make a move, but the 12 has a good drive off, even though he took a little bit of a higher lane. Getting into turn 1, that made the 7 catch up to him, but he's got good exit doing it that way. Since I've noticed that, I'm going to try to do that here, but it got me just a tad bit loose coming off the corner, and I lost just a tad bit of ground. I prefer to hug the curb. Curb seems to be the best line, but sometimes if you leave half a lane from the curb, you can really get a nice run coming off of the corner. A little bit more exit speed than you'll have from the inside line. We are losing a little bit of ground on the 7, but just trying to keep pace here as much as we can. And we just nicked the curb. That ruins our exit just a hair, and that's enough for the 6 to peek in on the left side, and we're just going to have to let him get in there, as he already got a nose from our quarter panel. Going to let him get by so we don't lose the second car behind him. And we're able to keep it down without another car passing us. 13 laps have gone by, and we've really stayed in the same position as we've been. There's been a lot of fighting going back and forth, just trying to get the best lane that we can, but nobody's really able to get side by side. Again, it's really hard to pass as we got in deep, and we just nicked the 6 just a little bit. I had to get off throttle and really slam on the brakes. We did not hit him hard enough to get a 4X, but we definitely made a little bit of contact. And again, we nicked the curb. We got to really be mindful of that. The curb is going to do us no favors. Now we're starting to drop back from the 6. 6 really pushing it hard to catch up to the 7. He can see that the 7 is hung up behind the 12. And up front we have the 4 car in the lead. The 1 car right behind him in second place. Looks like he's got some damage on the right front. He might have been involved in that first wreck, or maybe he got the wall off exit. 3rd car is in 3rd, and 9 cars in 4th. And we are all the way back in 9th. Yeah, closest group of cars is going to be the 3 cars in front of us, as now the 5 car is making a dive on the bottom of us, but he is a lap-down car. He's got better tires than we do. Going to have to let him go just so we can keep our line going, and hopefully if something happens ahead of us, we can be in striking position for it. And if the 5 wants to create some ruckus, he can go up there with his fresh tires and maybe scatter these guys in front of us a little bit. There may not be enough time left in this race for that to happen. Another 3 laps go by, and everybody's still holding the same position here. 7 has been working on the 12 the entire race, but 12 is able to run the line that he likes, half a lane up from curb, and gives him a good exit. 7 is not able to make a pass in any capacity. He does have better turn-in. He's able to get up right up to him, and 6 is getting there too. 12 is definitely holding him up on entry, but again, he has such a good exit, and the 6 is going to fake a dive underneath the 7 and maybe get the 7 a little squirrely, or keeping his eye in the mirror, but it doesn't really work. 7 is just going to keep running right up behind the 12 as we're now on the last lap. No cautions really threw a wrinkle into this race. Everybody got strung out and spread out from that first wreck, or from really the only wreck that happened on lap 2, and that really kind of put us in an awkward position. We're going to come across the line and finish 9th. It was a good race, good practice race for tonight's main event. We started 10th, finished 9th. We didn't really gain all that much, but hey, we didn't lose anything either, so got to look at it that way. We finished with 0x, could have been 4x. We lucked out with hitting the 6 in the rear end there. Well, we only gained plus 14.14 in safety rating and plus 10 in our I rating, so again, we only gained a hair, but we didn't lose anything, so can't complain too bad. Our best lap was on lap 4. And what's interesting enough is 14 cars were still in the lead lap at the finish of this, even though we started with 16 cars. That's actually really surprising that the 4 car, as you can see him doing his victory burnout right there, didn't even pass more cars. Overall, good race, good solid lead up, good practice for the main event. Track is now quiet. People leaving the stands trying to get to the concession stand, and I recommend that if you wanted to get snacks, drinks, or anything, you're going to want to do it quick. Because in Virginia, with the Virginia Hills, when the sun goes down, it can turn to darkness just like that. And now we have the super late models on track practicing. These cars are a lot different than the regular late models. These have a lot more horsepower. Even though they have somewhat of the same grip, it don't feel like that when you can burn off those rubbers coming off an exit with all that extra power. And as the field starts to roll on for their pace laps, this is the 50-lap main event feature of the evening. We did not qualify. I was stuck at the hot dog concession stand enjoying my Martinsville hot dog for all of qualifying. When they called drivers to their cars, I had to run and jump over the pit wall, onions and mustard and ketchup flying everywhere. Couldn't finish my second or third hot dog. So that puts me starting at the rear in last place in 12th. Yes, there is only 12 entries in this race, but trust me, fewer cars does not mean fewer sparks. In this race, there will be cautions. However, there will be no tire sets, so what you start with is what you have. Better be careful. Different car means different rhythm. We have to get into that mindset. We're going to have different braking points in this car, and we're going to have to feather the throttle on exit when in the late model, you could pretty much mash that thing coming off the corner and keep it straight. That kind of rolls into don't be fooled by the grip. We could get into the corner feeling strong, feeling like we have the best grip in the world, and again, you do not manage that throttle, you will spin it coming off of the corner either on the front or backstretch. We're going to be racing the number 7 ASE Carquest Dodge Charger Super Late Model. That's a mouthful. We're coming to the green. The 10 kind of jumps a little early. The green flag is out, and the 1 is already about to spin it. What we were just talking about, don't throttle it down, and everybody's starting to get a little scattered in the back, so we're going to take it easy and see how this plays out. 12 is sticking up high, and we're going to try to take that spot right off the bat, getting underneath him. Everybody checked up for that one car that just turned sideways. Granted, the 10 car taking off as early as he did put everybody else in a bad predicament starting the race in the corners. Restarts like that are terrible. Bunch of cars in front of us, still side by side. Starting to single file out a little bit, but the 11 fighting with the 3 car. 3 is underneath him now as the 8 already passed him. He might be able to sneak down in front of the 4 and keep that bottom lane. He's not going to do it. He's actually keeping it up just a little bit, but into the turn he's able to bring it down. And we almost do the exact same thing that the 1 car did. Too much throttle. Not too bad. We did lose a little bit of ground on the 4, but we have plenty of time to try to make that up. And the 11 did what we did, but he's not able to save it. Nose first into the wall. Yellow flag is out. And he looks damaged. Swerving it side by side to check his steering. Doesn't look too bad. Made that nose flat. Coming back to the green. Starting on the outside here in 10th. And again, it looks like everybody's going to have to start in the corner as the 10 gets an early jump on this green flag. We're really trying to get underneath and get behind the 4 so the 12 can't get underneath us, and everybody checks up in front of us because the 8 got out of line here, I think. Front 4 or 5 able to pull away. We get 4X from slamming into the 4. And we get another 4X just because the car behind us hit us. So just in that little bit of a hiccup right there, we get 8X. This 11 car we know is damaged, so if we can try to pressure him to get into this corner pretty hard, we should be able to get underneath him and not have too much of a fight. He might hold us up, so we need to try to do this as soon as possible. Sooner rather than later would be beneficial. Now, being nighttime, the track is a lot tighter than it was earlier on with the late models. A lot more grip. A little bit harder to get into the turn, but if you really cook it, you can get the back to just slide out a little bit and make your rotation a little bit better than it would be if you were just entering in normal. The 11 car, we're able to get underneath him and put him well behind us. 12 follows us through, so now 11 car is in last place, and we pushed it up to 10th. Got a couple guys fighting up front. The 2 car gets underneath the 6. Will the 1 be able to get it underneath him? 6 is going to try to chop him and block that from happening, and he does hold him off for now, as I'm sure the 1 did not appreciate that little chop there coming off the exit. We are by our lonesome here for a little bit. We don't really have anybody right up on us. It's going to allow us to get into our rhythm and adjust that. I could go a little bit deeper into the corner than I did right there, but just trying to maintain our tires. Again, this is the only set we're going to have for all this race. The one car tries to get into the back of the 6, or tries to get under there, and he pops him up, and he just plows the wall. I think he made contact with the 3 a little bit. He just took down that wall, so now his right side is really wounded. He's going to be falling back here as the 4 is pressuring, trying to get past him. 8 is going to try his best to work up to this and capitalize on that spot. And I think a little bit of net code pushes him sideways, gets him up the track, able to get by, and I don't know who's got their finger on the caution button today, but caution just came out. No caution for him taking down the wall, but a caution for a slight slide. Interesting. Very interesting. So the one car does not pit, and again the 10 takes off really early, even earlier now, so getting into the turn we're trying to restart. That's going to benefit the 9 as he's getting under the 5 there for 2nd place. And contact made, 3 gets into the back of the 2, and I'm sure somebody got into the back of the 3, bumper to bumper, everybody's hitting each other. 11 forces his way underneath us, dive bombs into the corner, and gets that position back. Now got to do all this work again on his beat up car. We're going to be stuck behind him. We really need to get around this 11 car. He's making it a pain for me right now. And it looks like the 12 car has taken his car behind the wall, so now there's only 11 cars on track right now. We are in last place. We're able to catch this 11 on corner entry. That damage must be hurting him getting in. There's no way he's not tighter than we are. I can guarantee you that. As look at that, he already goes in. A lane and a half, way too wide. We'll get a little bit of a run coming off. Not enough to get underneath him, though. More fighting happening up front. That 9 passed the 5 for 2nd place, but 5 apparently got back around him, and now the 6 is working the 9 as well. 9 trying to make the straightaway as long as possible. Gets him a little bit of a boost getting in, but not enough to clear the 6. 6 still sitting there side by side as we're now getting finally underneath the 11. See if we can get this spot back from him. Holding me up. Once we get by him, we should have no problem catching back up to the field. 6 still working at 9. 9 being stubborn, getting into the corner. 6 gets a little bit too deep into it, and he just doors him. 9 getting up a little bit. A couple cars get past him. Oh, and they're still making contact now. The 3 is rubbing up against the 9's door. 9 is getting beat up. I think this is the same 9 car that was in a late model race earlier with us, so me and him doing a double duty pull tonight. 9 just completely cuts off the 1 to keep that line, and he just gets right back to the 3 because he rushed it too hard, spins around. His internet sucks, so the 1 goes through him, and oh, we hit him. Oh, yep, I think we got into him there. I'm not sure. We have to see the front of our car if we got any damage. We look crystal clear. I'm going to say because of the 9 car having really crappy internet from him flashing earlier on and having that 1 car go right through him, I'm going to say that his internet benefit us, so we didn't end up getting any damage from that. We did not get a 4X either, interestingly enough. Again, starting in the middle of the corner, this 10 is playing mind games with everybody. Helps us a little bit as we're underneath the 8 car. Let's see if we can get by him here. We are able to clear him. The 1 gets popped again, and another caution comes out. That 8 car, I think, slammed into the door of the 1, so they're going to have probably way more damage than they had earlier on. Got an itchy caution finger tonight, iRacing. Alright, coming back for another restart. We are going to be starting 7th this time, luckily on the inside, just like we were in that last restart. This should help us gain maybe a couple positions. We'll see how well this goes. 10 did not go, made the 5 jump a little bit. 5 had to pull back, and when the 5 pulled back, the 10 just took off. He's had a really good lead getting into turn 1. We're now able to get underneath the 4, maybe, possibly. We'll see if we can snag that from the 8. Just jumped down in front of us, by the way. So we're not able to clear this 8 car. He had a better launch coming off the corner than we did. Having to restart in the corner is just so bad at this racetrack. That 9 car is really right up on us. He's really quite damaged. We can see his entire left front wheel. There is no fender, and if there is, it's all shoved underneath the hood. He's diving it in deep, and he nicks us, pushes us up high, and the 9 is going to get right back by us. I'm going to try to enter in wide here. Let's see if I can get in wide and then come off and maybe cross him over here. Oh, and he saw that coming, makes a drastic defensive line there. We're going to back off. getting into this turn, maybe we can get a better exit coming off. About an equal exit. Alright, gets to the end of the race. If the 9's in front of me, he may have a little bit of a bumper coming to him. Maybe not, because he's flashing. I won't know where he is. Battle's happening up front. We got the 2 underneath the 3 for third place. No, fourth place that is. And the 6 gets by the 5 for second. And that 9 is really driving it, getting sideways off the exit there. So hard to pass. We need to make sure that we're up on this field. That way, if and when this 9 gets up there, tries to make any moves, we can capitalize on anything. Anybody that pops out, I'm going to try to attack it. 8 is coming back to us. 4 is about to get by him. 9 is now peeking under him. 9 is now side by side with the 8. Let's see if we can push it in here. I want to get underneath the 8 as well. The 9 just turned right into the 8. 8 spins, gets into the corner, plows into somebody. Is that the 4 car? It is. 2 cars into the wall. 9 involved as well. He's disappeared. I don't know where he went. Wow. I guess I'm glad I didn't get in behind him. We would have been involved in that. Alright, well, a bunch of cars just pitted. The 1 car, the 4 car, and the 8 car pitted, so that puts us in 7th place. And, oh, the 6 car misses the shift. Starting second, falls back and dive down. And the 3 is going to get into the 5. 5's going to get a little bit sideways as well. That's going to put us from 7th all the way up to 3rd. Just from the 6 missing a shift. Now, everybody's scattering everywhere, trying to get what they can. 6 is still struggling, trying to gain back what he can. 9 gets into him, probably frustrated from earlier. The 4 doors him as well. The 6 is now into the wall, riding up on the wall. We got sparks flying everywhere. The 9 is now hitting the 1 again. 9 shot out. Now, the 9 is not a factor. 6 is still getting kicked out. We're up here, away from the mess, still in 3rd. I have to be extremely defensive now, because I have this car behind me. I think this is the 2. I am 100% defensive right here. Make sure you're hugging the curb. I don't care if I hit it at all. Do not let him get a nose underneath us. We need this 3rd place. That'd be a great finish for us after the start of this race and the mayhem that has been going on. And getting into the last turn, we're able to keep it down. 2 might get a better exit. He will not, and we're able to hold on to this 3rd place. 10 gets his win. What a good race that was. Man, that was exciting. I did not expect to finish really up in the top 5 with how much the 11 was putting a fight on us with his damaged car holding us back. And by the time we got by him, it was really late in the race. And for not qualifying, we did a heck of a job keeping the car clean and keeping the tires on it to be able to finish in a respectable position. And our fastest lap of the race was on lap 50, just to show you how hard I was pushing on the last lap to make sure I was racing really defensive to not let that 2 car by us. That was a really good set of races there. The first race was a little bit lackluster only because of lack of cautions. Kind of strung everybody out and really spread everybody out. Second race was really exciting, even though, again, there was only 12 cars. You don't need a lot of cars to have a lot of excitement. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you join us again on our next entry with Universe Motorsports. As you can see, people on pit road are already leaving. Late night. Have a good night. Thank you for joining.